1, 2. I'm monitoring my own audio now because the last few things I've recorded that I was editing, I was breathing into the mic. I do a lot of head down and talking, things like that, I just, because I have literally no way to be aware of what it sounds like until now. So I got some real cheap in-ear monitors so that if they get destroyed, I'll just get some more. And I just plug that in so I can hear what is going on. I don't actually think, okay. Yeah, there we go. Anyway. Let's see. I went out at the beginning of, well, actually, I think it was the end of December and then January. Into January, I went off the first week, built computers the second week, off the third week, and now out this weekend, which is technically actually into February. I can't wait for spring. Winter has gone on long enough. It is the beginning of February. I'm ready. I don't think it will happen anytime soon. I'm guessing it'll be May before spring weather actually happens. Maybe April, but it's nice this weekend. It was snowing last weekend a lot, which is why I stayed inside. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of video games with the new computer, trying out a few PC things and enjoying that. Otherwise, reading and let's see. I picked up the game I started last weekend. I've really been enjoying. It's called Eastward. I saw it because it went on Game Pass on the Xbox. I've been playing that a lot more than I expected to. I just turned it on being like, well, let's see what this is about. I noticed it was published by Chucklefish, which is a company who has made several great games that I really enjoy. They had a hand in Stardew Valley. They made Starbound, which I'm quite fond of. It's been a good time. Why is there a car going back and forth behind me? Anyway, so Eastward is really fun. Got a really compelling story. I've really been enjoying that. I finished the book series I was reading. I moved on to something else. That happened over January. The book series. There's actually a second series that they wrote. David Eddings and his wife Lee Eddings, I think. The first series was called The Belgariad, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and then the second one is, I don't remember. I've never read that one. I didn't even know that one existed. But I looked for that one. I couldn't find it online as an older book that I could read for free. So I will probably purchase that at some point, but my money's going elsewhere at the moment. Anyway. The next thing I started was something older that I did have a copy of digitally, which was The Hobbit. I've never actually read The Hobbit, and the only time I read Lord of the Rings was a very, very long time ago. I was very young. I don't remember all that much about it, so I figured that would be a good one to start. So I picked up that, started reading The Hobbit. Been reading and doing that. Kind of after not really the first of the year. I don't make like New Year's resolutions or anything, but it's just a good time to start projects and things like that. I tried to cut back how much I'm eating during the week to try to see if I can encourage the last of the weight loss. That I'm down considerably. I've lost a good bit of weight and working out and everything, but still not quite to where I want to be. So that's why I cut down a little bit. I still do. I mean, during the week, 5 days, I eat quite well of just rice, beans, vegetables, salad. Pretty much the same thing for dinner. Sometimes I mix in a meat option, plant-based meat or just mushrooms, something like that. But cutting back the actual amount of rice, I'm going to see what effects that has. That's more or less how I've gone about it. I haven't done an actual calorie counting plan in a while. I just kind of set up and went, all right, this is enough. I haven't done it in many months, is what I should say. I did it a while ago, back when I started getting a handle on things and going, all right, how much do I actually need to eat to lose weight? How much do I need to survive? Blah, blah, blah. So I have not kept up on doing that regularly. I just kind of get to a point and go, okay, good enough. And I could tell, I mean, I am losing weight, so I am still on a downward trend. It's just kind of leveled out and plateaued. Anyway, reading, video games. Oh, I'm watching a TV show called The Man in the High Castle. That's really good. I got on a kick. I was watching something else on Amazon that was based off of Philip K. Dick's writing, which is, he wrote, not exactly, but Blade Runner, basically. What they made Blade Runner off of came from his show, came from his book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, I think. And that was something that I specifically, like, they made a graphic novel of that, which was excellent. I read that back in the day. I'd like to read that again. I need to see if I can find that. I read it before when I had I had just bought a larger tablet and I was reading comics digitally. And I had a subscription to one of the services, and they had the entire graphic novel for Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I read through that, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Oh. Is that a magpie? What is that? Dang, it went real quick. Oh, nope, wait. There on the top of the tree. It might just be a crow. Oh, no, wait, that's the Steller's Jay, isn't it? It's kind of behind a branch right now. Focus area, spot, small. Alright, well, if you're just going to sit there, this is more wildlife than anything else. Is my viewfinder fogged up, or is my actual lens? My actual lens is fogged up. That's a shame. Stop. Okay, that's better. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing. The Man in the High Castle is excellent. Another really good series. This doesn't come out as well when I'm trying to go through the glass. I know that. I can't roll down my window. Stop. Eh. Oh. That's gone. Dang it. All right. Anyway. So that's kind of what I've been up to the last few weeks since I haven't been going out. Building computers and then enjoying the time at home. Resting, relaxing, kind of getting back into the groove of things. The updates, as far as that goes, I think that's everything. Is there anything else? I'm monitoring my audio now. I talked about in the other video about how I'm going to start trying to focus more on video and not so much the still photos, because I'm getting the itch for more video again. I kind of just, whatever I feel like at the time is what I bounce back and forth to. I went over all the personal stuff of what I've been up to, what TV shows I'm watching, what I'm reading, how I fill my time day to day, basically. I did also start reading. I'm trying to kind of piece out in different ways. I started reading comics more of, like, I read a book when I'm going to bed, but during the day if I have some time, or on the weekends and I feel like reading. I've been reading the book series, and then I started reading comics again. I started reading Sandman because I watched the Sandman show in December, I want to say. That was really good. I was like, all right, yeah, let me read so I read through the first one, and I was like, they did pretty well spot on. Which reminds me, the Last of Us that I've been watching has been apparently very good and spot on to the game. I have not played the game, but I might now that I've started watching the show, because I knew it was good. It was just one of those that, like, I put off and never got around to. So I've been doing all that. Not nearly as long of a walk as I thought it was going to be for the mother and her young child. They were only out there for about 15 minutes and then back, and the child is loud and distracting and I can't focus. And anyway, better just pause. I looked up a question as I've been doing, answering questions on the camera. Today, it is, what are you most likely to be arrested for? Even if you don't do anything illegal, what crime do you think you're most likely to commit? Interesting. And that kind of goes two answers. Both of them would be an accident. And one of them I don't think I'd get arrested for. Neither of them I really think I'd get arrested for. But trespassing, going looking for wildlife, going out, I try to be as very careful about trespassing and make sure that I'm not doing that. But it's probably bound to happen at some point, especially if I'm not paying attention or if I'm focusing more on the wildlife and less and I just wander somewhere where I shouldn't be. If I see signs that say don't, then I don't. But if I don't see the sign, and that's happened on several occasions, or I'll enter it from a different area and there's not a sign there, and then I go and I exit from like a main entrance and I exit and I go, oh, there's a sign that says I shouldn't have been in there. Whoops. That is trespassing. I could technically get in trouble for that. The second one that I would say would be tax fraud. Again, by accident. But that kind of rolls into the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which was I did my taxes after the first of the year. After I got all my tax stuff after the first of the year. And I got a refund, which I did not expect. I figured just because it was the first year, over the last year, the one thing that I did differently, because ever since I turned 18 and started filing taxes every year, it's just been a basic, here's how much I earned, done. This last year was more complicated because I started doing independent contractor for the photography and videos that I do for my job. Doing that as an independent contractor, I just get a flat. Here is the money. Here's the agreed upon amount from your contract. You deal with it. And so I have to pay my taxes regularly. I have to keep track of how much it is and pay my taxes and business expenses and to find out whether or not I spent enough to claim difference or the standard deduction. And it's a whole nightmare. So, of course, because it's made and lobbied to be as complicated as possible so that you go with a service instead of doing it yourself, I did it myself. And as far as I know, everything was right. I did everything the way that I could. I might not have gotten as much as I possibly could have, but it's fine. I got a refund. Surprise. And I spent my refund because that was money coming in that I did not expect. And I just went, yes, I will gladly do that. And I looked around at what specifically I was looking forward to as an upgrade. I just built computers like the week before I finished filing my taxes. I got everything done. And I was like, oh, you know what? I really should treat myself. I spend 40 hours a week working and wearing headphones and listening to podcasts, music, whatever. I would like a nice audio upgrade. I've been wanting it for years. So I bought myself some nice headphones, some very nice headphones. I got myself some an actual like preamp and DAC to send the audio signal. I got real into that and it sounds amazing. Instantly, it's more clear, it's a lot wider. I mean, the headphones before were just like, yeah, give me some open back, something so I can edit with them so I can listen to the stuff. And then I've got a wireless pair for when I'm using the Xbox and the TV. But this is a nice upgrade. I'm very happy with that. It's very good. And it kind of made me think about what something else I'd like to do is just things come and go, but I like them. I talked about last time as a coping mechanism of purchasing and buying things. Always has been. Probably always will be. But I like things, and I like buying things. And I thought of a way that I could show that as a video series. It doesn't really fit with anything else I've done, so it may need its own channel. And I probably won't do it anytime soon, because really what I'd like to do is have a nice backdrop, a background set up. So when we move, and I can get maybe my own room dedicated for my computers and a recording area and stuff like that. Maybe I'll start it then. So yeah, I was quite happy about that. I've really been enjoying them. The headphones are really nice. They're the most comfortable headphones I've ever worn, so I'm really looking forward to that. They don't, I put them on and it's like there's nothing there almost. It's really nice. And for the fact that I'll be using them constantly while I'm working, it's really nice. And I upgraded this was another little thing with just what was left over, but I upgraded the audio recording well, not recording, the interface that I use for my microphone for work meetings. I went ahead and tested. I wanted to see, I think I have some products that are made by Tascam for audio related things. I'm pretty sure in like for wildlife and going out. And so I got their little, podcast maker, whatever. It's a USB interface that allows me to plug in my XLR microphone, which is what I needed, because the one that I had before I bought almost 10 years ago, and it was never fantastic, but it was what it was at the time. Technology's come a long way since then. It always had a hiss. It had a very loud noise. I would have to use denoising applications and things like that, software, in order to get to the point where I was happy with it, because I don't want to put anyone else through that with my microphone. I could probably use a preamp on that, but it's got a built-in preamp. It was supposed to be fine. And this new one is very nice. It was only like $80, which compared to that mixer that I was using, it's a mixer. It's not just an interface, and it was maybe close to 200. I don't know. This would be the kind of thing that I could talk about. And I just like making a series about that. It doesn't have to be, I don't want to do reviews, because that's whole other covered. I don't like being negative anyway. I don't want to have to sit there and talk about pros and cons unless they affect me personally and things like that. I don't want to be judgmental of it or critical in any way. And that's what a review is. That's what you go and, I look at reviews online for other things of what people have done. I don't want to do that. I just want to make videos about the things that I have while I'm able to have them, because who knows if I move and have to get rid of stuff. I've already had to do that many times over my life. It's just a video of things that Michael likes. So I might do that at some point. Maybe I'll just go ahead and start it. I have things. I used to collect things. I buy things. I enjoy them. I'd like to talk about the things that I like. And then I have them digitally forever, as long as I keep video files or whatever. As long as YouTube exists, more or less. That would be a neat thing. And it's, it's just something different. And it's something I've been thinking about. And I thought of a way to make it interesting. I could research the stuff and talk about it. Especially the older things. I'm really interested in older things, and it maybe gives me an excuse to continue to buy things for myself, as opposed to buying something that has a function or something that just looks nice on a shelf, something that is a collectible, something like that. Or I always enjoy going to thrift stores and just looking around and buying things. Is it a waste? Maybe, but it makes me happy, so not that much of a waste, and it kind of justifies it. I can't say that that's the best possible idea or use of time or money, but it's something I've been thinking about and something I kind of want to do. There was one point back in the day, I don't think I ever posted anything. Back before I did any video-related stuff, I just had my cameras, and I just went, I'm bored, what can I do? And I just started taking pictures of things around my apartment, and that led me into, these are things that I own, and I like this stuff. Like, I stacked up the laptops over the years, and I took a picture of that. I was like, this is just neat, because every couple of years I wind up buying a new laptop, and it was really interesting to see how thin they've gotten compared to the big, huge, chunky ones that I got when I was growing up. So, I like technology, I like electronics, I like collectibles. I have tons of magic cards I could talk about, and especially if there's a story related to them, which most stuff does. In some way have, even if it's just a short little thing, they could just be short little videos. So it's something I'm considering at some point. And I really got into it. This was what I did wind up posting about a year or two ago. I started buying old cameras, like old video cameras online. And that's really if there's anything that I really would love to explore, I would love to just buy old cameras and look at how they used to work and take them apart. That was something I got a big one, big camera that took full-size VHS tapes. Really cool to see. I don't know if I had to get rid of that. I kind of hope I saved that one. I had a couple variations. I was just like, yeah, this is interesting. I would love to know how it worked and take it apart and look at it, talk about it and things like that. I took pictures of the circuitry, the circuit boards on the inside, because it was just fascinating to see how this thing I understand so little of it, but seeing that was really cool. So I would really that would be an area of specialty that I would love to dive into. Is just, I really enjoy cameras, video or otherwise. I would love to be able to dive into that. And this is kind of an excuse to do so. So I don't know if I had to get rid of that when we moved because I just pared down everything. I tried to get rid of as much stuff as possible, donating left and right. I made many trips to the thrift store to donate back where, and that was one where I was debating. I put it back into the case. It was the thrift store that I bought it from the year before, and we're getting ready to move. And I was like, well, I guess you're going back where you were. You were great to sit there in the background for a year, and you were worth the $10 or $15 I paid for it. See ya. But I don't know if I was able to keep that. And I did that with several of them. I think I did wind up keeping some, especially I was getting them online as well from online thrift store things. And I found an old Canon that had that white color. And like, I never even got that one to work. That's something I would love to see if I can get old ones working again, because I love to tinker with that stuff. Anyway, so that will probably happen at some point. I've had the thought several times over the last few years since I started doing video stuff. I just ideas pop into my head and I go, "Ooh, wait, that could make a good video," or that could at least be interesting. That would be an outlet of some kind of creativity. I would love to do that, and it justifies spending money on stuff sometimes. So that will probably happen at some point. I'm pretty determined. At the very least, I want to try it and see how it turns out and see if I'm happy with it. But again, I might just wait until I have a better setup, an actual background, a place to display things, a place to talk about things. I have so many things that are just in storage. We just have boxes and boxes. And that's kind of why it would be better to wait, because I don't want to unpack anything that just has to be packed right back up to be moved in a few months. So at some point I will do that. But I think that's all I got for today. Kind of caught up on everything. Answered a question, talked about that more of a personal side of things. Yeah, I do my best to avoid getting arrested or getting in trouble of any kind because I don't enjoy it. But, yeah. More next week, for sure. Maybe more this weekend, but more next week for sure. I ordered something. I kind of alluded to it without saying, because it's not... I don't know, it's not really a surprise or anything, but it's something that I specifically, when I talk about it, I will dedicate more time to it specifically. Delivery delay. I ordered something else that hopefully will come in at some point. It just has the package may be lost entirely. That sucks. They can't even give me an expected delivery. It was supposed to be here yesterday. I paid for 1 day delivery, a little extra to get it here so that I could be using it this weekend in this wildlife related stuff. That's what I'll say. But it hopefully will be here by next week, or if they have to send another one, I don't know what's going to happen. It just disappeared at some point. I know I order enough stuff online to know where the hubs are, where they fly out. Like everything ships to this one hub and then a flight happens from there. And it was in transit on the flight and something happened and it never got scanned. And that was like 30 hours ago. So I don't know. I'll wait and see if it turns up or if anything happens, if it gets found, and otherwise report it and see if they'll get me another one out soon. And hopefully by next week, regardless, I should have the new equipment that I want to do, and we'll be able to talk more about it then. But yeah, I think that's everything I really have to talk about today. Kind of went over some stuff, went over some crime-related things. Have I ever been in trouble? No. I'm trying to expand on that question because it was kind of short, and usually I fluff out the videos a bit with answering personal questions about myself as a way to somehow make videos that don't need to be that long even longer. But no, I've never been arrested, never gotten a ticket. Mostly because I don't do anything. I don't speed or drive dangerously. I don't do anything illegal, really. So I don't have a reason to be in trouble for anything. I'm trying to think of the last time I interacted with a police officer. Probably when I got in an accident, which was not my fault. That was a long time ago. That was my first car. Well, I did get in a fender bender with somebody no, they did back into me. No, wait. How many accidents have I been in? The first one when I was like 18 or 19, somewhere in there. I think 18, with my first car. We were just stuck in traffic coming out of the city of Atlanta. on one of the major highways, and they closed one of the lanes. And so I'm just sitting waiting, and all of a sudden my car gets hit, and I start getting pushed because a tractor-trailer driver, just a cab, but didn't see me and came into me, but then lied about it and was like, no, he jumped lanes and cut me off. And I was like, nope, I was just in the car, but we didn't have any witnesses, so nothing happened there. Thankfully, there wasn't much damage to the car or anything. And then there was a fender bender while I was waiting at an ATM at a bank where somebody just got confused and backed into me. It's perfectly fine. I mean, there was no scratches or anything. It was just like a bump, what the bumper is for. But like, yeah, she was confused about the whole thing, and I don't think she was from this country. She very much did not want to call the police, and I was like, there's no damage anyway, so I don't care. But anyway, or maybe didn't have a driver's license that was valid, because that happens often. And then the other one, I was just more of a witness than anything. I did get bumped, but again, there was almost no damage to the car. This was still second car. This is the fourth car I've owned. The second car, coming home from work one day, and somebody fell asleep at the wheel 2 cars behind me. So they slammed into that car, who then hit me. But there was no damage to my car, so I just took control of everything, basically, and was like, is everyone okay? I'll call the police. I'll handle everything. I'm the witness. Here's my information. Made sure everybody was okay, because the first guy was all beat up from the airbag, the guy who just fell asleep at the wheel, and the second one, neck from the whiplash. I had nothing. I was just kind of sore a couple days later, but like, no big deal at all. But yeah, took control of that and got everybody off to the side, and was basically, because ever since that very first accident I ever got in, 100% of the time, call the police and be the witness and have a witness. Because otherwise, people will just say or do anything, and insurance won't care. They don't want to pay. That's their whole job. Their job is to take your money, not to pay it out. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist as a business. So I learned that lesson early on, and made sure always, if I ever get in any kind of altercation or anything that happens, you call the police, you get a police report, and you have a witness. Because otherwise, they won't do anything, and you'll wind up footing the bill if you actually do have to pay for repairs or anything. I know that for sure. Magpie's got a little piece of something, just flew out of the car. Anyway, that's the only things I'm not saying I've never done anything illegal, but that doesn't mean that I need to necessarily talk about it. I have to find out statute of limitations on some things. I definitely drank when I was underage, but that was 10 plus years ago, so I think it's okay at this point. I don't recommend it. I don't encourage it to anyone. I don't drink at all anymore. It has been several years since I had any kind of alcohol. It was always very social. I'm sure I've talked about that before, but at this point, I just don't bother. It's just, I don't crave it. I don't need it. I have no use for it. It is what it is. So yeah, I think it's time to drive home now. It's been a good time out, but I'm hungry, and I'm going to go home. I'm going to start my rice so I can make enchiladas, because I'm going to make rice and bean enchiladas. I think that'll be good. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for coming along, watching, listening to me ramble on about anything and everything. Whatever topic comes up, it's what we end up talking about. Until next time.